Today, we delve into the roots of the Russo-Ukrainian War, a conflict that still impacts the world today. This clash, which originated in Eastern Europe, has evolved into a significant global concern. But how did it all start? And what were the fault lines that set the stage for this war? The historical context of this conflict is deeply rooted in the intricate tapestry of Eastern European history. The Russo-Ukrainian War officially began in 2014, but the seeds of discontent were sown much earlier. The Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991 left Ukraine and Russia as separate, independent nations. However, the transition was not smooth, with both nations grappling with their identities, political ideologies, and territorial claims. The primary bone of contention was Crimea, a region of strategic importance due to its location on the Black Sea. Russia, with its historical and cultural ties to the region, was keen on asserting its influence over Crimea. In contrast, Ukraine saw Crimea as an integral part of its territory. This disagreement over the region's ownership was a significant trigger for the conflict that was to follow. Another contributing factor was the stark ideological divide between the two nations. Russia, under President Putin, leaned towards authoritarianism and aimed to re-establish its influence over the former Soviet states. On the other hand, Ukraine, especially its western regions, yearned for closer ties with the European Union and the West, seeing it as a path to modernization and democratic reform. This ideological clash further exacerbated the tension between the two countries. The conflict began when Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, a move widely condemned by the international community. This bold step marked the beginning of a war that would lead to immense losses on both sides, not just in terms of territory but also human lives and economic stability. Understanding the roots of this conflict provides the foundation for grasping the complexities of the war that unfolded. As we move forward, we will delve deeper into the toll of this war, the advances made by Russia, and the current state of the conflict. War is never without cost, and the Russo-Ukrainian War is no exception. In the chessboard of geopolitics, nations are not the only players. Innocent lives, economies, and territories are all part of this complex game. The Russo-Ukrainian conflict has exacted a heavy toll on both countries, and the price paid is far more than just monetary. Let's start with the human cost. Thousands of lives have been lost, many of them civilians caught in the crossfire. Families are torn apart, their homes reduced to rubble, their lives irrevocably altered. The emotional and psychological trauma inflicted on the survivors is immeasurable and will likely reverberate through generations. Moving to the economic losses, both countries have felt the sting of war. Infrastructure has been destroyed, businesses shuttered, and trade routes disrupted. The economic fallout has not only affected the warring nations, but has also sent shockwaves through the global economy. The financial burden of war is a heavy one, and it's the ordinary citizens who often bear the brunt of this burden. And then there's the territorial loss. The conflict has seen Russia capture significant swaths of Ukrainian territory, a move that has been met with international condemnation. This loss of land is not just about geography. It's about identity, culture, and history. But perhaps the most profound loss of all is the loss of peace. The constant threat of violence, the fear for loved ones, the uncertainty of the future, these are all tolls that can't be quantified. The cost of this war has been high for both countries, a painful reminder of the devastating impact of conflict. Now, let's turn our attention to the territorial gains made by Russia during this war. The extent of land seized by Russia is considerable, with critical areas of Ukraine falling under Russian control. These areas are not just random patches of land. They hold strategic value, often serving as key transportation routes or housing vital resources. For instance, the capture of Crimea by Russia is one of the most notable instances. This peninsula, jutting out into the Black Sea, is a geopolitical gem with its warm water port and rich cultural history. Its annexation has had profound implications not only for Ukraine's territorial integrity, but also for international relations. The loss of these areas has weakened Ukraine's position both politically and economically. Each territorial loss chips away at Ukraine's sovereignty, leaving the country more vulnerable and fragmented. Yet, it's not just about the physical land. The psychological impact on the Ukrainian people, the sense of losing their homeland piece by piece, is a devastating blow that's difficult to quantify. These territorial gains have significantly altered the landscape of the conflict and continue to fuel tensions in the region. So, where does the conflict stand today? Let's examine the current state of the Russo-Ukrainian War. The Russo-Ukrainian War, as it stands today, is a complex and multifaceted conflict. It's not just a battle fought with tanks and troops, but also with information, propaganda, and even music, as seen with the Spotify playlist promoting pro-war messages. This highlights the unique and modern nature of this conflict, where even the digital realm becomes a battlefield. In terms of territorial advances, reports suggest Russia has made significant strides, capturing considerable land. However, these advances have not come without cost. The toll on both sides has been immense, with countless lives lost and infrastructures devastated. Moreover, the war's impact extends beyond the immediate battlefield. The international community's reaction has been varied, with some nations condemning the aggression while others remain silent or even supportive. These international responses are crucial as they shape the geopolitical landscape and influence the conflict's progression. Notably, the war has also exposed some deep-seated issues within the Russian military. Recent reports indicate a prevalence of alcoholism among Russian troops, a problem that dates back to previous wars. This issue, coupled with Russia's conscription system, is contributing to a higher death toll among the Russian forces, further complicating the state of the war. As for the negotiations, they remain ongoing but challenging. The complexity of the conflict, the high stakes involved, and the differing interests of the parties make finding a resolution a daunting task. However, these talks are crucial steps towards a potential breakthrough, and the world watches with bated breath, hoping for an end to this devastating conflict. The Russo-Ukrainian War remains a complex and ongoing conflict, with repercussions felt around the globe. Now that we've delved into the Russo-Ukrainian War, we want to hear from you. It's no secret that this conflict is complex, with layers of history and politics interwoven. What stood out to you the most? Was it the origins of the conflict, the toll it's taken on both countries, the extent of Russian advancement, or the current state of the war? Perhaps there's a particular aspect you'd like us to delve deeper into in a future video. Or maybe you have a unique perspective or insight that could shed new light on this ongoing issue. We're curious to hear your thoughts. Is there something about the Russo-Ukrainian War that you feel is often overlooked or misunderstood? Do you think there are lessons to be learned from this conflict that could be applied to other geopolitical situations? We value your insights and perspectives, so please share them with us. And don't forget to tune in for our next video, where we'll continue to explore the intricate world of global politics. Thank you for watching.